My name is Michelle Villalobos. My company is Mi Vista Consulting, and what I do is teach women, business owners especially, how to brand themselves and market themselves so they can generate more business. To that end, I also founded the Women's Success Summit, which is Miami's largest two-day conference for entrepreneurial women. We draw between 600 and 700 women over 2 days, and I've been in business for 5 years, and I started the summit about 2.5 years ago.
Tell us about the award you just won.
All right, so I won the award, the Make Mine $1 Million Business Award in New York. And what I had to do was go to New York and pitch my business and share with the audience and with the judges how I plan to grow my business. And so what they did was they chose their favorite people, the people who pitched the best, and then they followed up by checking all our financials and all of our data to make sure that we were a solid business and that we had the potential to grow into the $1 million of business. And so I was one of the winners of that, and it's very exciting.
How many people work with you or you employ?
So I have a business. I'm considered a solopreneur. I'm a solo operator. I employ a lot of independent contractors. So I have somebody who manages a company that manages sales for me. I have a woman who's a virtual assistant. I use designers and video editors, and I hire production people. But actually, I'm the only employee of my business.
Well, this seems very great and good now, but how did you start your business?
Wow, starting my business, I started it 5 years ago, over 5 years ago, and it was very difficult. I started it almost out of necessity, because I had left a job to take another job, and then that second job that I took was just terrible. And so within a month, I knew I had made a very big mistake, and so I had to do something, and I didn't have anything else lined up, so I went out on my own to be an independent consultant. And so starting my business was very difficult. I got no loans, I got no grants, I got no help from a bank or from the government or from anyone. And it's taken quite a while to sort of figure out how to set up and run my business so that it is profitable. And now that I know what I know that there are more resources out there available that could have helped me. But just to give you an example, I did try to go get a loan a year ago, and I was turned down, even though my business has good cash flow. We're a solid business. It's not easy, and banks weren't lending at the time, at least not to me.
From where you tried to lend?
That was from Citibank. Citibank, yeah.
What about the government helping you?
No help there either. In fact, there's a lot of regulations, a lot of rules, a lot of paperwork, a lot of things that I've had to do that have actually gotten in my way, I feel, in my business. So, I think things could be a lot easier, and there could be a lot more resources out there to help people like me when they start. Started the Women's Success Summit was so that it would be a resource for women starting up businesses. Because it wasn't until I started the Women's Success Summit and I started having experts come in and speak that I found out about some of the resources that are available. So now I know, but I needed to know 5 years ago. So perhaps I could have done more homework myself, and I could have researched more. I'm going to take responsibility and accountability for that. But what part of my mission is to make this information more accessible to other women.
If you have to give an advice to someone starting out their own business, what is the best thing you can tell them?
I would say plan. Don't give up what you're doing right now that's making you money until you're really, really clear about what business model you're going into, who your clients are, what your niche is, who's going to buy, and if possible, overlap, in the sense that don't give up the thing that's sustaining you and supporting you too soon, because what that creates is desperation, and it's very hard to be creative and innovative and create positive results out of desperation. So take your time. Don't jump the gun. Stay put and plan before you leap. Okay, so whether or not the economic climate impacts the success of your business, it really depends. It depends on a lot of things. What happens is there are certain businesses and business models that are centered around, for example, competing on price. So for example, if you're selling a product that has a lot of competitors, that's a commodity, chances are a tough economic situation is really going to impact your bottom line, because at the end of the day, people are making that decision based on price. So an example of that, if you go into the coffee business and you're going to supply coffee to the United States and you're competing with all these other coffee sources, and you start competing on price, you're going to end up in a situation that's tough. Now, if instead you go after a specialty market or a niche market or a market where you can be unique in some way, not just different, but unique. So something that really differentiates you in a way that your target audience is going to value, then all of a sudden you've taken yourself out of the competition. There's no more people competing with you, and if you can find the right target audience willing to pay a premium for this unique product, then the economic climate won't impact you as much. So there are ways to minimize and mitigate the impact that an economic downturn has on your business, and one of those ways is by identifying yourself in a unique niche with a very specific target audience.